Hello, this is Danny Hyun from Danny's English. Today I'm going to share one transformational change in one school in its English curriculum in my city. As I told you, I'm teaching Meister High School students. There are three Meister High Schools in my city, Ulsan, and one of them it seems like transforming their English curriculum into very like a drastic way. Mm. Actually, most my high school students in Korea nationwide are supposed to learn TOEIC uh, since each company specifically some like big companies which are very attractive and most Meister high schools are aiming for landing uh, their jobs requiring certain TOEIC scores, and you know, to be able to offer jobs to students. However, and this is not only one single qualification as well. There are other elements of in the qualification to be qualified as an applicant for some, attractive and like a kind of uh, well-paying companies. So uh, that's why most Meister high school students are learning and TOEIC in the school system, and also trying to get a certain level of scores by preparing for the test. So I'm teaching the TOEIC to Meister high school students in my city as well each weekend. However, one school in my city is seems like a planning to incorporate one speaking uh, test contents in the school system, which is called OPIc. OPIc, let me introduce this exam very briefly. OP, of course, is not developed in Korea. Is of course is developed in the U.S. And however, the biggest company, Samsung Electronics, is adopting OPIc as a kind of measurement to assess applicants for their English speaking proficiency. They don't consider each applicant's TOEIC score. They just only consider OPIC scores. So this school kind of consider this factor. So that's why they seems like this is my assumption is I just I'm going to keep track of it's like a transformation or change occurring in English curriculum, which might happen in the second semester. So uh, to be able to take advantage of getting a job in Samsung Electronics, they're planning to launch. They're planning to include a lot of contents of OPIC system, OPIC speaking tasks in their English subjects contents. So uh, that's why I am quite today. A lot of thoughts came to my mind since I used to be an OPIC teacher in some institution or schools, or also I have taught, not now, I used to teach OPIc for a long time, quite long time, to college students and also employees at some companies as well. And recently, I taught several Meister High School students who are third graders OPIc tests this 2024. My concern is like this. I think it is a good way to teach productive skills to our students for their future. My philosophy of teaching is to develop my students productive skills, which means I'd like to make them consider English as a means of communication, not kind of like scores or something kind of like you know, mm, is kind of like a unpractical knowledge. I'd like to make this language as practical as possible when they get a job. Of course, it is really, technically speaking, it is impossible to make them equipped with a good command of English speaking skills, you know, within this certain period of time. However, I'd like to uh, make them have underlying knowledge for their productive skill speaking. I think this is really dramatic change. I've never seen, even though I have spent a quite long period of time teaching English while observing school curricular in several schools, you know, from elementary to high school, even in college as well. Of course, for college students, they themselves have to prepare this test for landing a job, specifically kind of the biggest company, Samsung Electronics. However, last week, one student, his very good students, very smart students, told me, he said, "Teacher, we are going to learn OPIc. We are going to," the teacher said, they are going to include the contents of OPIc in class. And also, they are going to utilize the lot of contents in OPIc in their midterm and final tests. Hmm, that's okay. Quite surprising. It's not, ex- you know, what I expected. Actually, I've never seen that kind of school curricular in other schools as well. And personally, that's the way we have to do if possible. You know, if we get away from this like a receptive skill system, if we can help them to develop speaking skills by teaching these standardized speaking test to our young students. Uh, yeah, that's kind of very favorable and very ideal situation, in English education. And I think uh, there's one concern on the other hand as well. This spring, specifically 2024, I taught several third graders in Ulsan Meister High School. Uh, Especially at least one student, uh, he is the top scorer in TOEIC test in their school. However, even though my plan was like this, I'd like to make them memorize my sample uh, answers. And then, uh, on the other hand, I expect them to be able to develop their automaticity, which means their authentic speaking skills while memorizing sample answers. After 2 months, I assess their progress. I was, but except for one student, technically speaking, he had already had a little bit comparatively decent command of speaking skills compared to other students. Except for him, other participants in my class didn't develop speaking skills. Just they just tried to recall what they had memorized. However, they almost had failed to recall uh, their memorized sample uh, answers. Yeah, this is a really practical situation because this is kind of on-hand experience. You know, in my OPIc Meister High School class, which is for the first time to teach OPIc uh, exam to students. Even though I went to Ulsan Meister High School as a special lecturer, like for 2 days to teach OPIc, is of course it's very short period of time. Within 2 days, there was nothing I can do. Uh, yeah, I think it seems like the reason why they'll exist like there are two uh, most representative and popular standardized speaking tests in Korea. The first one is TOEIC speaking. The second one is OPIc. I know, even though some good scorers uh, they cannot speak as fluently as their score represents. That's my own hand experience as well. However, I think they at least they should be able to develop a very basic command of speaking skill, no matter what kind of method they are going to use, either memorizing or either like composing some sentences. Yeah, feeling kind of limitation from my students, fostering, cultivating, develop English speaking skills is not easy. This is my concern. Especially, that's good, especially as an underlying effect. Sometime in their future, they're going to use, if they appreciate this is, good opportunity to develop their speaking skills. That skill will be latent knowledge for their like you know speaking for their appropriate timing to have to develop their speaking skills. This is underlying effect. However, since they are supposed to get a job, and the purpose is to teach them OPIc speaking test is to gather scores, which means they should be able to develop their own speaking skills. This is kind of uh, like a, you know, what they have to do. This is what they have to do. This is precondition. This is like the most basic, expectation from our students by teaching this test. Uh, this test, if this OPIc test is used in a kind of like a uh, TOEIC test, such as like a only written form, either reading or listening comprehension, there is no use of uh, adopting this test for students, in my opinion. We should be able to foster and develop their speaking skills by teaching this test to students. Uh, you know, Actually, one of my concerns is whether to teach students by translation method or communicative approach. This is kind of my, long time question, which I have not got any appropriate answer for my uh, like uh, you know unsolved question, uh, because it requires a lot of experience. Just like this question is not being solved, this question does not give us any like a plausible answer with our own assumption. We have to apply our own assumption in a constructive and structured manner, and also we have to assess and observe our students' performance. As I told you, this first semester I have taught OPIc test to students. I haven't got a very positive, you know, performance level. Uh, of course, the frequency of classes is not enough since I was able to meet them, uh, during the weekends. Nevertheless, uh, I have failed to foster English speaking skill to my students. Yeah, I feel quite uh, excited, and also I think this is very positive change for our English education system in Korea, specifically, you know, K-12 system, uh, equivalent to K-12, the United States education system, like especially approaching English as a practical discipline, like a good means of communication, by teaching them speaking, like a practice for speaking test is a good way. As I've never seen this approach before. However, the thing is how we should prepare them to take this test, and how we could uh, make them uh, get some appropriate and decent scores to be able to get a job in a good company, specifically in Samsung Electronics, as a you know one attractive element for their qualifications. So, uh, of course, school system might must prepare for that. I am keeping up with how they prepare for their curriculum, of course, through the mouth of my students as well. And yeah, uh, unless time constraints, we can, I believe, like if the motivation among our students persists, we can do that. However, these two things are decisive factors for the success of this totally new approach, which means we are not teaching them kind of conventional elements of English. Now we are approaching to teach them very practical or quite like a contemporary, appropriate elements of English, which means like for the purpose of cultivating uh, like communication skills in English. So I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna I might have to prepare for that as well. So, mm, as a teacher, as a you know mm, person who feel big responsibility of Meister High School students' English performance, I am very excited about this drastic and like a positive change. Thank you for watching. Very small change in English education is seems like about to occur this regional city, like industrial city in Ulsan, South Korea. Thank you for watching my video. This is Danny Hyun from Dennis English.